Plaintiff, Phyllis Harding, says the defendant dated her daughter, and they have 4 children. But Phyllis is currently raising the children because her daughter and the defendant were homeless. Phyllis is suing the defendant for childcare expenses. Defendant Isidro Javier Chavez says while he was with Phyllis's daughter, he got an apartment and was working 2 jobs to support their family. Javier insists he pays child support and has always been there for his children.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, my name is Phyllis. I'm 65 years old. I raised my 3 children, and now I'm raising my grandchildren, 4 of them from ages 5, 7, 8.5, and 10. I've had them off and on actually since the youngest son, who was born in 2013, since he was 3 months old, because of problems with homelessness, joblessness, and they've had a lot of financial difficulty.
Any drugs involved?
No, I don't know. No drugs involved. It's just been, like, I guess, bad luck. I don't know.
Bad luck for how many years?
Since 2013. And maybe a little bit before, but they used to take care of themselves. I've always been really free with helping. And I know that even since my daughter graduated, she met him the year she graduated from high school. If she met him before, I don't know, but I didn't become aware of him until 2010. And she was 18. And even though I was against the relationship because of the age difference, at that time I think it was about 8, 9 years, and I just felt that he was too old and mature for her at the time. But she was grown, so it was nothing I could do.
How old was he at that time?
Let's see, maybe she was 18, so he was about 26.
Okay. And they got along otherwise?
Yeah, they got along. I mean, yeah, they got along real well. She got pregnant before she graduated.
4 times, right?
Yeah. Well, and that was the first time. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was born on her 19th birthday when she turned 19, May 26th. It was my birthday, May 26th. It was her birthday, May 26th. So he had him then. At that time, I felt like I said, well, she wanted to be on her own. They left and went to Texas, and I had to go and get her because they were homeless.
Because what?
Because of homelessness.
Got it.
So I went and got her, brought her back. And initially, I think I did help her get a place in a low-income apartment, and I paid the rent. But I got upset because he moved in with her, and so I felt like you got a man, he's supposed to pay the rent. But then the rent got behind, but the place called me because they knew initially I was paying the rent, and they told me, and that's how I found out he was staying there. I didn't know. I just found out. I guess not. I don't know if he was working.
If they couldn't pay the rent, something was going on.
Yeah, something was going on. And I'm saying you just can't live on somebody. And then I felt like, as always, taken advantage of. I stopped paying. So she eventually ended up coming back to my house. And I lived next door to his parents. And so he came back home too. But then started noticing that, and then I had an older daughter that moved back into the house. And she was the one that discovered that he was sneaking in over there while, once I was asleep or whatever. But she got rid of him because she kind of mean. And she got him out of there. And so, but I've been helping them both. And I don't dislike him.
It seems like you just told me about one of the children.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. They're coming in the story now. Okay. It just seems like then they just started having kids together. They didn't get married at first. They got engaged, but they never actually quite got married. And I think it was because my daughter had some hesitation because he didn't keep jobs. And he had some good jobs though, off and on, while they were together. But they just didn't last, but I don't know why.
Let me speak to him, sir.
First of all, Your Honor, let me start a little bit from the beginning. And I honestly don't think it's fair or that she's
I have to work. Sometimes I feel that way.
No, I mean she sits there and tries to put me out.
My wife that
like a deadbeat father. I'm not. I do pay my child support. And everything. I love my kids with everything. And there were a little bit sketchy when she was saying the story, and that's not exactly what happened.
Well, tell me.
Well, I'm the one that actually found the apartment.
I don't agree with that.
I want to know who actually paid though.
Me. I had 2 jobs, Your Honor.
Okay.
I worked at a place called Cargill, which is a meat packing plant.
I'm familiar with
and then I also worked at Walmart.
That's a pretty good job, Cargill.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I worked mornings at Cargill and I worked nights at Walmart.
Okay.
It got too hectic for me, so after about 5 months, I couldn't do Walmart.
Maybe
no.
I don't understand what you got too hectic. What do you mean? Going to work became hectic.
Yeah, going to work and then my
What's hectic
hours.
for me? Do I still have to come in?
Yeah. So
Dealing with you and her and the ones before you all and the ones before that. That's hectic.
Yeah.
You come sit in this seat and you'll really walk off.
I don't agree with everything he said.
But he can tell me better about his life than you, because you were in a different state at that time, right?
No. We went to Texas, okay? It wasn't because of homelessness. My job that I went up there for, that I was supposed to get, it didn't come through. So that left me in a bind.
It was too hectic.
No. It wasn't hectic. It's just when I was supposed to get my old job back that I had, and they just told me to come in and let them know as soon as I get there, and we'll go ahead and put you in. It didn't work out that way.
That's the one job.
Yes, that's when we went to Texas, and yes, she did have to come pick us up.
What about the rent she says they called her about? That's the concern here, really.
I was paying rent. There were a few other times, yes, that we struggled, that we needed help.
Why? You
with
had
rent.
2 jobs.
That was after the fact. That's fast forward a little bit.
Okay, so at the time that you were living in the place that she had signed for and they called her about, were you working then?
No, at that time, no.
Okay. And how long thereafter did you begin work?
After that, I ended up getting another job.
Were you able to pay the rent then?
Yes, I started paying rent again.
Okay.
I just couldn't get caught back up.
Okay. She came to Texas?
Yeah, she came to Texas to come get us, okay?
Right.
When we came back, that's when it all started. The Texas thing, that only lasted, we was only there for a matter of maybe 2-3 weeks.
Because they the job backed out on you.
So then I spent the next 2 weeks trying to find another job, and I couldn't find it.
Let's just cut to the chase. Last 10 years, how many jobs you had?
We had 4 kids together.
I said job.
Oh, job. Sorry. The last 10. Oh, wow.
You can't count.
Wow.
It's too many to count.
That's right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why are you so unstable in the workplace?
I don't think I was the one that was unstable.
It was the bosses.
No.
All your bosses happen to be unstable.
No, I think it was my relationship that kept me unstable. We got along just fine. We loved our kids, but in the end, we just always constantly bickered and fought, and it was always about bills, and we couldn't do this. But then again, I kept saying, "Can you help me? Can you get a job?" She'd say, "Okay, I'll try." Never would.
How much do you think childcare would have cost for 4 children? She was better off not working. So
Right.
It would cost about $200 a week per child, so perhaps even $250. So that's $1,000 a week.
Oh yeah.
$4,000 a month.
Easy.
She was providing more than you. You weren't making $4,000 a month.
No.
Well, then she was. She saved you guys $4,000. When you save somebody some money, you're really giving them some. How many years did she do that?
Guess 10 years.
10 years, $4,000 a month.
40 $48,000 a year.
Times 10.
480.
You're $500,000. How you gonna pay it? You know,
I don't know.
You better marry her and get that debt off you. That's the best way to handle it.
Too late for the Mary thing now.
You say it's too late, you want your money?
On. He's got a new girlfriend. She's 21 and she's expecting her first baby.
This is gonna be the fifth child, sir.
Yes, sir.
And you haven't been able to take care of the 4 properly. You've been off and on working, all jokes aside now. You've been working off and on. All of these children, these 4 children that you have, you've worked off and on all their lives. At some point, you should have stopped until you knew you could afford those children. And now you have a 5th one, and you're being sued for child care expenses. Ma'am, tell me how he owes you child care expenses.
He owes me his children live with me 24/7. That's the kid's expression.
How long have they been?
And I've been doing this off and on since 2013.
For 7 years.
I had 2 of their children that came to stay with me. And then even when my daughter came down, she stayed in an apartment that was my apartment. And my son and we had an apartment together. My aunt, though, needed help. She's 102 years old now. And so I moved in to help her, and my son kept the apartment. When my daughter moved there, she moved in the apartment, and she took the kids back. And so she had 3 kids there at that time. They were living in the place, and I ended up paying the rent because my son lost his job. But since my name was on the lease, I had to pay the rent. So then my daughter, against my wishes, invited him to come down, and he moved in the place, and he never paid any rent while he was there, and that apartment was $650 a month. And I was paying the rent, and everybody was living there. They lived there, and they fought and bickered, and they did $10,000 worth of damage, and when I went to housing court, they went on my record, and I had to pay on it. Nobody gave me any money to help me. I didn't have paid the animal thing because I didn't have any animals, and neither did my son. She brought cats in there. They, I had a wheelchair, and because I had a stroke a few years back, and that ended my career. I'm a doctor, a physician, but that ended me working. I had a wheelchair that I was storing in my apartment, and the wires got pulled out. I don't know what, or chewed up by the cat or whatever. And I said that nobody ever paid for that $5,000 machine. I'm sitting up there saying that holes in the wall. The carpet was damaged, and he probably didn't do all of it because my son was there and he had a girl.
No, his children though.
And his children were there. They were little, and I would come over there and it was in horrible condition.
Okay. With regard to child care expenses, did he ever agree to pay you for child care expenses?
No, he didn't. But he did agree to help pay for rent. And I don't think that it's fair for me to pay for all the food, all the clothes. I take them back and forth to school. It costs me a lot of money every week on my car for gas. Gas went sky high as soon as I got the kids. Gas stopped.
And y'all ain't even on drugs. Most folks out here that come like this and have the grandmother take care of the children all their life, it's because the children are on crack. Like we're seeing with the opioid epidemic, like we saw with the crack epidemic, the addicts pass on their responsibility to the parent. And the parent worked all their lives and ready to relax a little, and here comes an additional burden to them that they have to live with under stress. Usually people on crack. You all just trifling. You tell me. Why did she have to do all these with the 4 children for 7 years? And shove it in shoulders.
I don't do drugs.
Then you need to.
Hey, like you said, they're too expensive.
You don't want to pay for nothing. You don't even want to pay for your high.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I've I didn't bring him earlier because I always give them a chance. They're gonna pay you back, next paycheck. But then the paycheck either doesn't come, or if it's too short, I'm too short. I can't pay my utilities. I loan him money for rent, and he can't say I didn't do that because when they didn't have a place to live in Cleveland now, this coming up now, they got 3 kids. And they're living in a hotel. I've loaned you money for gas for your car to go to work when you did have a job. You say you go give it back. You never give it back. Never. One time we had lived in Kansas, you called and asked me to loan you some money to pay the car note so they wouldn't take your car back. You didn't. I'm going to give it to you. I get paid on Friday. I'm going to send it back. You never sent it back. But I let it go because you taking care of the kids. But then all of a sudden you're not taking care of the kids no more. They coming up to stay with me. Then everybody was up there. You could have gave me $20 a week. I would have been happy. I wouldn't be here right now. I get angry because you steal from me.
What?
Your mama, their mama gave me the child support card she asked me, she had a job then. And so she had just got the job, so I was going to visit my other grandchild. I'm going to leave that
alone.
And I took them with me. And she gave me the child support card. She said, I saved some money on here so you won't have to buy to help you buy the uniforms. Ain't enough on there to buy all the uniforms, but she had money on her. I go down there, I go to the store, give the card, the swipe, and then the lady said, well, it said insufficient funds. So of course I had to use my money to buy the uniforms. And so when I got home, I told my daughter there's nothing on there. So she called child support. And then they said, well, let's go over your last charges. Uber Eats, Uber Cab, some kind of Xbox Play thing. He had got the number of the card and was using it and charging the money off of the card. So he was taking it back.
Sir, I beg
he took
you.
It back.
That's not what
Please tell me you on drugs. You're recovering now. You don't do it no more.
I don't
right?
do drugs, period.
You never did?
Maybe back
like I'm talking about some hard drugs.
No.
Well, you can't take care of your kids.
No, the card situation, Your Honor, that's not what happened at all.
I don't care about this one incident, sir. I am troubled that she has had to raise and support.
She is speaking
and
about
care
recently.
She's talking about 7 years worth of care.
7 years worth of care. That's because her daughter went behind my back and always told her that we needed money. That had nothing to do with me.
You didn't need money.
Yes, she did.
You never needed the money.
I didn't say we didn't need the money, but her daughter's the one that went to her. I had to keep working to keep bringing home money. And then she would tell me,
if you were
I got
working
money
and
from
bringing
Mom.
home money, you didn't need any. Sir, do you have a permanent skill? Just want to know, if you don't mind me asking. You have some type of permanent skill that you obtained after high school?
A permanent skill, no.
Yes, college degree, a skilled trade, any of those things that are transferable so that you can take care of these children you're producing. That's what I'm referring to, sir. Don't let it be a foreign concept.
No. I mean,
what's your defense to reimbursing her for all the child care expenses she has expended? She wants $5,000. What do you say?
I don't know what to say to that. I mean, if that's exactly what she's feeling, then ain't nothing I really can say to that, because I'm not that type of father. I'm a father that's going to sit there and try to be there for my kids. And if my kids need it, then why not?
And I've been messing with you about the drug thing,
well,
but I was serious asking about, that's why I was asking about a transferable skill.
No, and right now I've been at my company where I work at now. I've been there for over 2 years. I am a crane operator. I am a machine operator, a tow motor driver, and I do basically everything in that.
Ma'am, he's not as trifling as you make him out to be.
Yes, he is.
I tried.
Like I said.
All right, sir. You're not fighting it. I'll grant you the judgment of $5,000. Even though there wasn't an agreement, he's doing it to do the right thing, and I appreciate him doing that. It took you a minute, but you're mine. Said do the right thing. All right, $5,000 is your judgment. Have a good day.
I love you. And I don't dislike you, but the reason why I came is I just can't afford it. I've gone through my savings, through everything, because I care about the kids, and I don't want them to be without. They miss you and they love you every weekend. Are we going over Daddy's this week? And I said, well, I had to call your mom to see if they've talked and if he wants you this weekend. It disappoints them when they want to see you and you tell me, oh, I can't take them this week because I'm doing something with my girlfriend's parents. Take your children with you, because their step grandparents, when you get married, need to know these kids, because they're supposed to be with you.
I have no hard feelings, Like, that's at the end of the day. It's still my 4 babies. That's their grandma. I'm not gonna sit there and disrespect an elder. I was raised better than that, and we're gonna keep it that way.
Okay.
I still love you too.
Okay.